Hello and welcome back to another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. I'm Kaiju Kim. Hope you're all doing well on this lovely afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Tonight we're going to take a look back at the very first Godzilla film of the Heisei era, The Return of Godzilla, also known as Godzilla 1985. I will be joined by a fellow Godzilla YouTuber who's very excited to be here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Gojifan1998. Yay!
Hey guys, Gojifan1998 here.
All right, how's it going? How's your day been?
Oh, it's doing good.
That's awesome. All right, let's see who we have in the chat tonight. We got Sunzilla2008. What's going on? Matt Entman. I'm sorry, I can't say your name. Gojilia991. There we go. That's the one. Kasaibo F29. What's going on? Leo Yokatan. Valerie. What's going on? And Loopy Vids. Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alrighty, so let's get started with our three main questions that I'd like to ask all of my guests to get the conversation rolling. And that is, how did you get into Godzilla? What's your favorite Godzilla film? And what's your favorite non-Godzilla kaiju film?
Well, I got into being a Godzilla fan from my late grandmother after I was born.
Okay.
And my favorite Godzilla movie of all time was Godzilla vs. Biollante, the second entrance of the Heisei series.
That's a good one.
And my favorite of non-Godzilla film with the monsters movie is Frankenstein vs. Baragon.
Oh, another good one. Well, that's a solid choice. Solid stuff going on there. All right, so I guess we can just jump right into it. So when you signed up to be on the show, you wanted to do a retrospective of Return of Godzilla. That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Would you agree? Is that one of your favorite movies?
Oh yes, I totally enjoy it.
That's awesome. So what are your overall thoughts on The Return of Godzilla?
Well, for my thoughts about this movie is it was a great entrance for the beginning of the Heisei series, and decided to bring Godzilla back to his darker root like in the original did.
Yeah, I do like that about the film. So do you prefer the English or the Japanese version?
I kind of like the Japanese version better.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, because I grew up with the English dub, like, most of us here, but I feel like the Japanese version does a better job at, fleshing out the character. So I do tend to lean more towards that one, but we'll get into the characters a little bit later. So let's just talk about the tone of the film for just a moment. So this is the first instance in which the filmmakers kind of completely erase everything that happened after the original film from 1954. So in this universe, this is the second time Godzilla has appeared and is taken more seriously, much like when he first set foot in Tokyo. So how do you feel about this return to the darker tone as opposed to the silly, over-the-top madness we got in the later part of the Showa era?
Well, I kind of like the way that what the filmmakers thought they want to make Godzilla back the way he is, rather than being a hero like in the Showa series.
Yeah, I think it is a nice change of pace, although I am a little partial to Hero Godzilla myself, but it is nice to see Godzilla go back to his roots. And although we did start to see like a kind of a transition back to the darker, more serious tone with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla. So Return of Godzilla is kind of like that final step into that darker tone. And that actually makes sense for them to kind of return to their roots. And it was done very well, in my opinion. It has its silly moments, but for the most part, it is a very serious film. Uh, Gojillian says, though 1985 did have that great ending speech by Raymond Burr. Yes, that's that is one thing that the American version has over the Japanese version. I was actually going to mention that later, but yes, definitely agree. All right, so let's talk about the story and what happens in the film. Godzilla's back in town. Everyone's freaking out. The military unleashes a new weapon called Super X. And every time I watch this film, and we get to the part where Godzilla is knocked out and the Americans blow up the nuclear missile, wow, I can't speak, the nuclear missile, Super X loses power, and then Godzilla wakes up and trashes it. And every time I watch that part, I'm like, why was the Super X just kind of hanging out after Godzilla got knocked out? Like, were they just making sure they did their job right? But I always just thought that was kind of funny. And 30 some odd minutes have passes between the part where they knock him out and then the part where he wakes up. They could have just went home. I don't know about you, but I thought that was kind of funny. All right, so let's move on to the characters. How do you feel the characters? How do you feel about the characters in this film?
Well, I do enjoy the characters in the movie, including Professor Hayashida, that he was my favorite character in the Heisei series.
Oh, and the entire Heisei series. Why is that?
Well, because he was share his story when he lost his parents during the first Godzilla's attack in 1954. At first, he wanted to study him for revenge, and then he respected he's just an animal.
Yeah, I do like that Dr. Hayashida does have a personal connection to Godzilla. I do wish they could have, maybe explored that even a little bit more even, but what we got was pretty good too, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. I also like the dynamic between Goro and Naoko, especially in the Japanese version. Um, yeah, Goro is clearly more of an opportunist, and Naoko kind of calls him out on that, especially in the scene where she reunites with her brother, and then Goro starts taking pictures, and then she gives him this really dirty look. It's adorable and understandable. Like, come on, guys, dude, read the room. They're having a moment. Leave them alone. So overall, with the characters, do you think do you find them memorable? Do you think they could have been better? Is there anything you would have done differently?
Well, but the thing I like about memorable character was Okamura himself, that he was witnesses Godzilla rise out of in the ocean in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the man himself, Godzilla. So, what did you think of the design for Godzilla in this film?
Well, for my opinion about that design, that it was very cool, and he was kind of a little bit scarier when he has his ears return and his veins and four toes for the design of the creature.
Yeah, I do kind of like he looks a little bit scary at times, which it's a nice touch. Again, it kind of returns Godzilla back to his roots, so it's very fitting. And we have a question from Loopy Vids. What was your favorite scene of the movie?
Oh, that one's easy for my favorite part of the film. It is where Godzilla first showed up in a nuclear power plant and scared that power plant guard when he looks up.
Godzilla's first entrance. Yes, that's always good. That's a good one. I love the building music, and then just slowly pans up and looks like oh, and then he roars. What do you think about his roar in this movie?
Well, his roar in the film was very, very good. It sounds like a little bit higher down from the original's roar. Sounds like it for me.
Yeah, I do kind of like that they give him a new roar. I almost wish they stuck with it throughout the entire Heisei era, but it is what it is. All right, from D. Duval59. Sorry if I said your name wrong. If Return was a little shorter, it would be awesome. I grew up watching 1985, so that's my preferred version. And this is my favorite suit, hands down. Love the spines, tail, and head. Yeah, Return of Godzilla, the Japanese version. It does go on for a little bit, but and I also did yes, also one of the best scores in the entire series. I also agree with that. What do you think of the score?
Well, I like the score very well. That it was done by Richiro Kuroku did it great. And originally, Akira Ifukube was supposed to be going to compose the film, but he turned down offer as he didn't want to do it since he retired his composing career.
Mm, that's a nice little fun fact there.
Yep.
Valerie wants to know, did you like the giant sea lice?
Oh, oh no, no, I don't like that.
Mm,
It gives me a
no.
heart attack when I look at it.
Me too. It's so nasty looking, and it's got that goo. Ugh, no, no, thank you.
Well, I finally pronounced that name in this creature. It is called Shakiras.
Shakiras.
Yep.
Oh.
And there's a little fun fact about him.
Mm-hmm.
He was inspired of a cancel flea blood-sucking monster from cancel Bride of Godzilla 1956 idea.
Oh, very interesting. I actually did not know that. I learned something new today. Thank you.
You're welcome. I learned it from Wikizilla's talk about all the info about Shakiras.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. All right, Godzilla93 says, I'll give the score an 8 out of 10. Very intimidating at times, especially the intro. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, let me just pull up my notes here. I wanted to say something else. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I like to give him a new roar. So let's talk about the ending, shall we?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Oh man, it's sad. Like, come on, he gets tricked into going to Mount Mihara, and he's probably like confused, all like, "What? I thought there was a party happening over here. Where's everybody at?" And then it's like he gets trapped in the freaking volcano, and we know he doesn't die, obviously, but it's still sad.
Yeah, it was kind of sad, even when some said that God tells Godzilla go the other way.
Yeah, and that score though, again, the score. It's just and then you see the prime minister just kind of like even he's like sad about it. And speaking of the prime minister, I think he might be my favorite character in this film because he has the weight of the world on his shoulders and it shows in his facial expressions. Like the actor did a really good job, I would say, with that. Oh, hello, Doomzilla. You're not all that late. You're good. You're fantastic. Thanks for stopping in. And Loopy Vids wants to see an image of this giant sea lice. Well,
No, no, no. I see it now.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to scare away my viewers, but
No, I don't want to get a
hmm.
heart attack in here.
No, no, that wouldn't be a good time for anybody. Does the PM look like Winnie the Pooh? I don't. I don't think he does. I mean, no, I don't. I don't think so. I don't think he does. Come on, no, no. Maybe. No, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Donnie Winter, my twin. Thank you for stopping in, my friend. This is one of the few political Godzilla movies. Yes, yes, it is. It's not nearly as heavy on the politics as Shin Godzilla, but that's another stream for another day. But how'd you feel about the politics in this film? They were just kind of sitting around the table talking about politics stuff. All right, cool. Who would Godzilla win in a fight with? Would Godzilla win in a fight with giant Winnie the Pooh? I mean, obviously, unless covered in honey, then then he has no chance.
Hmm.
All right. Google search them. Those lights creep me the heck out as a kid. Yeah, they're not pretty to look at. No, they are not. So if you were given the task of remaking this film, how would you approach it? Like, is there anything you would change? Maybe the characters, suit design, anything?
Well, I can probably might do a make it a suit to make it a little bit more ferocious design and trying to make it a different tone for the root for the character.
Okay, cool. Um, so what made you want to do a retrospective on this film in particular? Is it just, did you just pick it at random or do you just like talking about it?
Well, talk about from the past is just start from how did all this begin?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. All right, from Doomzilla. The politics is very well done considering it was made during the height of the Cold War, as both sides are in a very unstable relationship with each other, while Japan is in the crossfire of said war. Yes, I agree. Yes. There was a Godzilla parody in a Pooh series called Birdzilla. I need to check that out.
Me too.
Yeah. I like watching parodies.
Me too.
Uh, yeah. I'm just looking through my notes here, seeing if I missed anything that we should talk about in the film. Godzilla King of the Kaiju says the only thing I change on Godzilla's design is make his eyes more like G54's eyes, where they kind of look downwards. Yeah, I did. That is one thing I will say about the suit design in this film. His eyes do look kind of weird to me, but they look cool, but like weird, kind of cool. Yeah. All right, it's continuing to look through my notes here. So, since we're talking about Heisei era films, how would you rank all of the Heisei films, like from your top favorite to your least favorite?
Well, there were so many for those I really like all the Heisei series, what they do, but there's so many are all my favorites.
Right. So, what would you say is your favorite? You mentioned Godzilla versus Biollante earlier. So, would you say that was your favorite Heisei film?
Yeah, that's right.
How about your second favorite?
Well, the second favorite one is Godzilla versus Destroya.
Uh, that's a good one. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with that one. Let's see. I'd probably get better American actors for this one. The U.S. ambassador is awful, but then none of the Heisei American actors were good. That is a very good point. Doomzilla, the Prime Minister is the MVP, where the world is at his hands, and he has to find a way to help explain both sides about Godzilla's attack, and that both are very eager at using and testing their nuclear weapons. Yes, it was a very, very well done film. That was a very good character. All right. Anyone in the chat have anything else to say about this fantastic film that kicked off the Heisei era? 'Cause I'm all out of notes. Okay. From Valerie, I'd probably just have the Japanese cut, but with Burr's narration at the end, but with also the ending from the Japanese cut. You know what? That sounds like something I would do too, because I mentioned earlier that one thing that the American version has over the Japanese version is the ending narration. And I was never a huge fan of the ending song from the Japanese cut. But I mean, I don't hate it. Do you like that song? Goodbye now, Godzilla. Goodbye
Oh yeah, I really love that song.
now.
Sang by the Star Sisters.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of catchy, I guess, but it just kind of feels out of place. Because we just witnessed Godzilla, getting trapped in a volcano, and it's kind of sad. And then just gonna like goodbye now, Godzilla. Anyway, so Leo says favorites are the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, Biolante, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, then Space Godzilla, then Destroyer. All right, that's a good ranking. Ravenberg was a badass in the English version. Yeah, I guess he was. I mean, I feel like, some of his dialogue didn't quite make sense, but it sounded cool. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. All right, Godzilla King Kaiju says G84's roar is one of, if not the best, Godzilla roar. Yes, I agree. It's unique, I would say. And it's fitting for a unique Godzilla design from Doomzilla. I love this film as it's the perfect way to start the Heisei film, and I do agree with Valerie that Bird's narration really sums Godzilla as a whole best. Yes, very good. We got our friend Miguel Barroso in the chat. Hello, good sir. What is both of yours least favorite Godzilla movie? What's yours?
Well, my least favorite film was All Monsters Attack.
I can see that. I mean, it's not as bad as I think people like to make it out to be. It is entertaining. It has its merits, but I can see why. I can see why someone would choose that as their least favorite. Let's see. My least favorite. I made a video about this about a couple years ago. All right, don't hate me. I don't particularly care for Godzilla versus Destroyer. It's not because I think it's a bad film. It's a great film, very well made, wraps up the Heisei era in a nice little bow. But I just have a love-hate relationship with it. It's depressing, first of all, and second of all, honestly, the suit kind of creeps me out a little bit, just a little bit. But that's just me. All right. Ooh, Godzilla Train 1090. What's going on? Really need to remember your time zone. Yes, I'm in the Eastern time zone. Yes. All Monsters Attack is a way too easy as a pick. Well, what can you do? Let's see what else we got here. From Jonathan Salazar, I personally like the ending song, but I can understand if it doesn't appeal to some people. Yeah. Well, like I said, it does. I don't hate it. It's just I feel like it's slightly out of place. Maybe if I listen to it again a few more times, I'll like it a little better. It'll grow on me. That's happened with some things. All right. Personally, I'm more kinder to those kind of Showa movies. I remember them being entertaining and fun as a kid. So to me, they did their job, which is great. Yes, I agree with that. Yes. I respect your opinion, but I will defend Godzilla versus Destroyer. Listen, I'm not saying it's a bad film. It's a wonderful film. I just have my issues with it that I do not care to discuss at this time. Oh, dear. All right, so I guess we've exhausted our talking points for this conversation.
Yeah.
Indeed. So, want to tell everyone where you can find your work, what you got going on?
Well, for my work on my channel, I do unboxing, review the movies, and do shout out and give a top list and much more.
That's awesome. All right, so everyone go subscribe to Gojifan1998. He's got some fantastic stuff over there. And thank you for joining me tonight on this relatively short stream. No need to drag it out longer than it needs to be. So, thank you, Gojifan1998, for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome, Kaiju Kim, and it's great to be here.
Awesome. And to you watching at home, thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me and my fantastic guest. An extra special thank you to Brian Truong, Rogue Firefly, Bonus Commentary, Danny Demana, and Nathan Marchand for supporting me on Patreon. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you had a good time here tonight. And be sure to join me next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.